going to break down the UFC 251 main event between Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman. All right, guys, let's get things started here with Jorge Masvidal. I'm here with my student Ben. He's going to help me out. Okay, so the techniques to watch for Jorge Masvidal is, first of all, he's very good with his jab. He's very good at setting everything up. He's very good at distracting, and he'll change and shift his stances at the same time. It's very slick, and it's very hard for any opponent to deal with someone when they're switching stances, let alone when they're doing it as they're throwing combination punches. So he may start with a southpaw stance, come in with a stomp like he did against Darren Till, and he'll switch his stance as he comes forward. And what that does is, not only is it a very powerful overhand strike, and you have a cross to both sides, so you have your power shots on both sides, but also you cut the distance extremely quickly, as opposed to just keeping your stance and seeing me stand this normal stance. When I throw that shot, you'll notice I'm also moving forward at the same time. Jorge Masvidal does that very competently and very well to both sides. So it's very distracting for someone who's seeing someone switch stances, but it's even more difficult to judge that distance when you have someone who's shifting stances as they come and as explosively as Jorge Masvidal does. Now, the other thing he does really well is with his jab, he's able to kind of distract. He goes upstairs to the head. As you cover up, he rips to the body. He really is very good at swinging his hips all the way over, really rips to the body extremely well. And what that does, it really slows down an opponent. Every body shot that you take is money in the bank, as they say. It really slows you down. It takes away your ability to breathe. Now, as far as Jorge Masvidal going against Usman, he has to assume he's going to end up on his back at some point. Now, for Masvidal, he does this very well. He's very good at getting back to his feet. Here's what he has to be careful with. So anytime he's like, let's say he's in a butterfly guard type position, he can't keep his shoulders pinned to the mat. As he elevates, he lifts his opponent on him. He's got to blade his body. He's going to support his body with structure here. He has a nice overhook. If he has an underhook, this will work as well. Does not matter, but the most important thing here is that he aligns the structure of his body so now he can withstand this energy from Kamaru Usman as he tries to put him on his back. If he rolls his shoulders close to him, now there's not a whole lot he can do to resist this force. So now, as he blades his body, trying to push me straight back, he's in a nice position to at least elevate and get back to his feet. A couple options here. If he grabs that leg, Kamaru will definitely hold on to that leg a lot of times. He's either got to turn his body very aggressively and be patient here, or try to off-balance Usman to get him to post that hand on the mat, and then he can get back to his knee. From here, Masvidal is very good with his front chokes, whether it's a darce or a guillotine. From here, he can go to that front headlock. He can get that high elbow guillotine here. Very tough one to stop, very good against someone who's trying to take you down. Very powerful choke. Or he can get that front headlock with the arm in, roll him back down, and go into darces here, right? Either to both sides, where he's breaking him down, coming in here with his attacks. So those are the main techniques to watch for from Jorge Masvidal. All right, guys, let's talk about the champ, Kamaru Usman, and the kind of techniques to watch out for from him on Saturday night. Okay, he does switch his stance as well. He's a little bit more deliberate, and it's a little bit more obvious when he does it. He'll typically transition, he's much better as a righty, so with his left foot forward, he throws a very educated jab, and he's very good at taking away his opponent's jab. He's definitely going to need that against Jorge Masvidal, who has a very good jab. And he throws with power on that right-hand side. But when he decides to switch his stance, he'll mostly switch, reset, give himself space, and then get to that southpaw stance. From here, he's not as effective as a striker. I believe he probably uses his stance more to try to shoot in on his opponent, so watch out for that. from here, he kind of throws more arm punches from here, and then kind of looks to try to get to that clinch position. So you look for that southpaw stance. He switches it. It's a little bit more deliberate, not as slick as Masvidal, but it can be confusing for opponents. So watch for that. The other thing that I think he does extremely well, besides that right hand cross, he'll step to the outside of that lead leg and throw that right hand extremely well. It hurts, and he can back guys up with it very, very well. So watch for that one. But more than anything else, I think a very powerful strike that he throws that's very deceptive is that rear kick to the body. I call it a stabbing kick. So from here, he'll kind of check this lead hand, and he comes forward, or if he wants to back the guy up, he just throws it almost like an uppercut to the body. He'll throw that, he'll dig his toes right into the body, similar to what Conor McGregor did against Chad Mendes to back him up. And it's very deceptive. It's hard to see because it's out of the eye line, and it backs him up repeatedly right against the cage to where he wants to be in his fight against someone like the Jorge Masvidal. We haven't seen Usman utilize his wrestling too much in his last couple fights, but look for it here against Masvidal. All right, let's talk a little bit about the strategy for Jorge Masvidal. We talked about the techniques. This is what he's got to do to put it all together. Now, the main thing you don't want to do against Kamaru Usman is get stuck up against the cage. Even if you're able to get out and not get taken down, you're going to waste a lot of energy over there because Usman is going to be significantly larger on fight night than Jorge Masvidal. So for him, he's got to make sure that he uses a lot of lateral movement. He circles away from that pressure from Usman, whether he's coming back here, switching his stances, making sure he's dipping out and really avoiding that pressure from Usman. So he can't just back straight up against the cage. He'll be in big trouble there, or at least be spending a lot of energy. The other thing for him is he's very good at countering shots. And sometimes Usman will kind of just throw out a lazy jab. And that's where Masvidal can really counter and catch him. So if you throw a lazy jab and he slips, boom, 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 he can really kind of land those shots on the outside and then move. So the main thing is, as he's shotting him to the outside, making sure he's really sticking to the outside and keeping like that lateral movement going throughout that fight. It might take him a little bit more as far as movement, but it's going to save him energy on the backside of things, from the wrestling. The best kind of defensive wrestling is not letting someone grab your leg from the get-go. So for Masvidal, it's going to be very important for him to do that. The other thing is, don't be surprised if you see Masvidal get off to a very fast start here. He still has to manage that throughout the fight. It is a 25-minute fight, but taking this fight on short notice, I wouldn't be surprised if Masvidal just kind of lets it all out there in those first 10 to 15 minutes. He might just try to make it a 10 or 15-minute fight and go at Usman from the get-go. So watch out for those flying knees. Watch out for those big strikes from the get-go. Masvidal is a very explosive guy. He's the smaller man, but he's the faster guy. He's got to use his footwork, and he's got to use his speed. All right, let's talk strategy now for the champ Kamaru Usman and what he needs to do here against Jorge Masvidal. Now, he does not want to throw a whole lot of combinations. He doesn't want to get caught trading with someone like Masvidal, even though he's the bigger guy, but he needs to use his size in the right way. And the way he needs to do that is by cutting off the cage and making that cage as small as possible. So, it's all about footwork and how he follows his opponent. If he lets Masvidal drift off way too much or land shots without taking advantage of it, it's going to be a long night for Usman. So for Usman, it's very important that, first of all, he take away that lead hand from Jorge Masvidal, whether he's in this stance or switcher stance, right? Or maybe he switches his stance, right, to take away that lead hand. It's much easier to take away that lead hand, in my opinion, when you are in an opposite stance with your opponent. Usman does have that capability of switching his stance, so it would definitely be smart for him to do that as he takes away that lead hand. Now he can open up that cross, and then he can get to that clinch position. Another thing that Usman does really well, and when he gets this clinch, right, you want to watch for this, but this is what he should do. Instead of trying to drive his opponent and bully him forward, which everyone thinks he does, what he does is when he gets this underhook, he actually sinks into the mat a little bit. So if you go to throw me right now, he just kind of rests, kind of drives his shoulder into the chest just a little bit, but his weight is more into the mat, and he's just kind of letting this guy work really hard. He's kind of hanging on the arms and getting his shoulders tired, and then he bullies him up over towards the cage a little bit, right? But he does it slowly, not necessarily with strength and power, but he kind of just rests and kind of leans on his opponent for him to shoulder all that weight. If he goes in and tries to use strength to try to bully him over towards the cage, it's way easier for this guy to move him around. So watch for that from Kamaru Usman. Let's get to the ground here. Another thing here from Usman, let's get on your back. For Usman, he doesn't want to give a whole lot of space to Masvidal. If he's staying out here and trying to ground and pound from here, it gives a lot of space for Masvidal to get his feet here in the hips and defend. He could push out, get back to his feet. So it's important that not only he make the octagon small, but he makes his relationship as far as space with Masvidal even smaller. If he stays out here, he can get his legs in. It's important for Usman to kind of stay head to head with him here a little bit and just use short shots. Doesn't have to be big, especially early on in the fight. It's going to allow him to really have to work hard to carry that weight. He's not going to give him a whole lot of space for him to get up. He's going to kind of have him carry the weight, throw short shots, you know, whether it's hammer fists, short elbows, little shots to the body, elbows to the body. And keeping his head here in this position, right about chest level, takes away a lot of the submissions that this person can do. It takes away the space, and it takes away the submissions. If I'm back, go for an armbar. Right? It gives a lot more space for him to do that. If I'm here, go for an armbar. Takes away the triangle. Takes away a lot of this guy's offense from bottom. So this is going to be a great fight on Saturday night. I can't wait. Both these guys are amazing.